What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Tyler here with Mom's Basement MMA. It's very difficult to cut an intro for a legend, but I'm going to try. Well, we got the most awe-inspiring, majestic creature I think I've ever laid my eyes upon. He's Mom's Basement 2020 Sexiest Man Alive.
Shit.
Shameless
So
Don Shainis. What's going on, Don?
what's up, dude?
Dude, I mean, tell me right now. Was that not like the? That was like just perfectly cut, wasn't it?
I gotta chub. Just
Yeah.
straight up, like,
I,
dude, I'm
I,
fucking rock hard right now.
well, I hope you are. You should be because, having an MMA podcast is, I don't know. You gotta be a gangster if you're on this side of the microphone. And
I agree.
I think I just showed everybody how much of a gangster I am by calling another man sexy. Anyway, we'll move on.
Dude, it's fucking 2022. I'm 31. It's 31 years too late for me to call no homo, so fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it, indeed. And speaking of just kind of you and your majesty in general and your greatness, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about your year in review before we talk about your your upcoming bout at Cage Titans 51. There were two
Okay.
fights in 2021 that
hmm
you competed in. You competed in Cage Titans 48 against Nathan Williams, and then Cage Titans 50 against Quentin Weiland. And for those of the people out there that hadn't seen both of those fights, can you like kind of take us a little bit back, like the good and the bad and the ugly of both of those two fights? When you think of the Williams fight, when you think of the Weiland fight, what are some of the things that come to your head? And how happy were you with those performances?
Let's start with Williams, right? So, how do I put this into words? Obviously, I didn't win. It's super fucking disappointing. A fight is a fight. There's no excuse for winning and losing. There were a ton of factors that did not go to my advantage. Skill for skill, I still feel like I'm a better fighter. Now, when it comes down to judging, uh, I did something that I've never done before and never heard anyone else do before. After that fight, I hit up every single judge I knew either judging the fight or knew outside of judging that do that have that job, and I'm like, yo, watch this fight. Talk to me. Well, why is this scored like this? Because in my eyes, right, um, in my eyes, a fight's a fight. My objective in there is to hurt someone, like
Mm-hmm.
to pretty much make them say uncle, to make them hate their life for the duration of the bout, right? And pretty much the way I look at fighting is like, all right, our brains are mazes, and at the end of that maze is a lock, and I'm the locksmith. So, like cardio, diminishes that maze a little bit, and fatigue, picks away at the lock, and my job is to crack that code. And in that fight, I felt like I landed all the damage, yet he won the positional uh, duration of the fight. So it's like, all right, he was in a more dominant position being on my back, but if you don't land any damage and you don't finish a rear naked choke, like how do you score that? If I'm on top for 3 minutes, guard and half guard, and grinding you and sticking my forehead in your face, and hitting you with these body shots and these hammer fists, and transitioning to take your back, and you scramble out and take my back, and you go for a rear naked choke like for the next 2 minutes, like how do you score that round? So it's one of those things like, what's worth more, in a different state and a different commission, that I could have very easily won that fight. That being said, my opponent missed weight. Still, no fucking excuse on my end. I still took the fight. In my mind, I'm like, fuck it. Weight doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I fought bigger, but he is also a very skilled guy. To see him go fight in the PFL and beating Don Madge, who was 2-0 in the UFC, to get submitted by him, I'm like, wow, he's being a UFC vet right now in the PFL, and shit, he got submitted, but he still looked really good. So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, I know where I stack up. I'm fighting outside my weight class. I'm fighting for an extra 2 rounds too, because we kept it at 45 so I could win that title, even
Mm-hmm.
though he missed weight by over 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when you're giving up that much weight, it's one of those things where it's like, could I have fucking not taken that fight and been 8-2 right now? Yeah, but in my mind, it's like, all right, I haven't fought for a year and a half. I'm super fucking anxious to fight. I've
Sure.
traveled cross country. I've held on to over 15 grand worth of tickets that I sold pre-pandemic. So I've been holding on to other people's money for a year and a half that haven't taken a refund. I need to honor all those tickets. I made merchandise. I fucking did my ticket sales again, like resold those fucking tickets, refunded everyone that I needed to. Um, and then I did my sponsorship, and then my opponent falls out over a broken foot. All right, did he really break his foot, or he did not want to fight me? I think he ducked me,
Hmm.
but then to get a short notice replacement, it was one of those things where I was just like, I'm not saying no, and gangsters do what gangsters do, and in that point in time, I thought I was fucking fuck it, don't fucking care, fuck it. That's what was going on. Like the little guy on my shoulder is just like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Before I go do anything stupid,
Sure.
was right there, fucking just screaming in my ear, fuck it, and that's what I went. So from that perspective, like I landed all the damage in the fight. I wasn't beat up afterwards. I wasn't bruised. He just held on to a body triangle, and it's like, how do you score that fight? Because now that, like, let's say it wasn't a title fight, all right, it's a 3 round fight. I definitely won rounds 2 and 3. Round one was a toss up. Tell me if you think I'm wrong too. So I scored round one a toss up. Round 2 and 3 I dominated. Round four he stalled out. Round five was back and forth. So it's like, all right, so let's give him 4 and 5. We're leaving that up to round one where I'm on top for 3 minutes and he has my back for two. He's going for rear naked chokes and not finishing, but I'm landing all the ground. How do you really score that? So
I had it 1-3 you.
1 to 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
1, 2, 3 you, and then four and
Yeah.
five him.
Four and
Um,
five.
but
But
five was close. Five was very close though.
five was close. I
I
think I finished the fight on top.
You did. And it was really hard for me. Like that was the one I was kind of back and forth on. I was like, oh man, like I don't know. That one's close. But just for the sake of objectivity, we'll give it to him. But I still had you winning the fight. And to your point, I think there's a tendency to award whoever has ground controls winning, but I don't know if it should really be like that. It's like, well, what are you doing with the ground control? Like, are you damaging your opponent? Are you putting in a sub? Like, are you being active or are you laying in guard? Like, what are you doing? And I didn't think there was really any point in time where I looked at it and like I identified like you were in like critical danger. Like you better get out or you're about to get finished or tapped out. I didn't see that in the fight personally.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to quit to a rear naked choke. I'll go to sleep. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you either going to finish that or I'm going to sleep. Like either I'm going to sleep or I'm getting out.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it tight twice, and he had it locked in, like short grip, like behind my head, everything. There's no excuse to why I shouldn't have been finished. So other than
Mm-hmm.
sheer grit and will. Um, so it's like, do you score that? Obviously, that's a super dominant position, but it's like, did he do his job?
Mm-hmm.
First the damage. So it's still a fight. It is what it
Yeah.
is. Fuck it. I want nothing but good things from him because he beat me. All right, whatever. Fuck it. If he could go out there and look good, that makes me look better. It wasn't like I was fighting a bum.
No, he's a very talented fighter. I personally thought you did enough to win. We take a break. There's like a lapse, and then at Cage Titans 50, not that long ago, here we were, and you were fighting Quentin Wyland. I watched this fight. I tuned in for it, and I don't really know what else there is to say other than you just completely dominated the fight. Pay props to Quentin Wyland for taking this fight, for coming from. I know he's from like the West Coast somewhere. Props to
He's
him.
from
Yeah, so props to him for like flying across the country to take that fight. That's a tough fight. So props to him for that. But you completely dominated that fight, and I hope he wasn't seriously injured afterward because for people who didn't see the fight, this is what it looked like. Don was in his guard and he was like mashing his ribs for like literally what,
yeah.
Jesus
He was
Christ, 10
bleeding a
minutes.
little bit. I know. I think I broke his nose, and someone told me I broke his rib, but I don't know how true that is. I definitely broke his nose because they rushed him off to the hospital afterwards. But dude, I feel bad for that poor fucking kid, dude.
Yeah,
Like I had this real bitter taste in my mouth that I needed to get out, and he was just the guy that
you had to
took
take it out on.
yeah, like there's nothing personal about this shit.
Yeah.
Like even after the fight with Nate, he was like, "Yo, dude, you're pretty cool. Can we be friends?" I'm like, "Yeah." So like for me, fighting's fighting. Like there's nothing personal about it. Like
No.
it's fuck you for 15, 25 minutes, however long it is, and then it is what it is. It's like sex. Once it's done, it's over.
I'm a virgin, so I wouldn't know.
Hey, dude, you could have fooled me with that fucking grand scheme entrance you gave me. Like, you fucking kidding me?
We all have to be modest. Actually, what a gentleman never tells. That's what I'll go with. And I will say this: I thought it was a dominant performance.
Thank you.
I thought you looked really good in the Cage Titans 50 fight. You didn't take any damage at all.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're coming off of that fight and you go back to Missouri, because I know you're living in Missouri right now, what have you kind of been up to since that fight? Have you just kind of been mostly staying in shape? Like, what have you really been able to do since you've got back home?
Yeah, what do you mean? Dude, I'm training my fucking ass off. This is what I do full time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a room full of people that have broke through to the next level. And I'm surrounded by people that haven't broke through to the next level that are going to break through to the next level. Everyone's hungry, everyone's competing. If you're not trying to fucking survive and get yours, like you're doing yourself a disservice. So it's like I've been trying to fucking survive. Um, Everyone's dealing with a few nagging injuries here and there, and I'm no superhuman, but it's one of those things is just trying to stay healthy, keep my weight down, and stay ready. Like right now, I think 2 weeks ago I was 164. I've never been that light. 6 weeks out of camp, where
Mm-hmm.
I think we're approaching the 4 week mark. I've never been that light. Normally, at the 4 or 5 week mark or the 3 4 week mark, I'm still, trying to break 170. So to be this light, this far out, and to be this healthy and hungry, like in eating, like legitimately eating, and then it's like training is all right. You wake up 10 o'clock, you're on the mats every day, Monday through Saturday. We got classes Monday through Thursday at night. Don't show up late. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we're going live for 5 minute rounds. In the morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, we're going live 5 minute rounds at night. Saturdays, 10 open mat, 10 live rounds, 5 minutes apiece. Over the holidays, I was there for fucking Christmas. I was here for Christmas. I was here for fucking New Year's. Open mat live rounds. So I'm getting my work in. There's no excuse. There's no, in my mind, there's gonna be no stone unturned. It's not like I didn't do the work. So I'm just excited to go out there and be able to perform.
In your promotion, in the Cage Titans promotion, I'll say this somewhat anecdotally, but you're a very popular guy in the promotion. Like you sell out shows. People want to see you fight.
Hmm.
Moving from Massachusetts to Missouri, relocating, you go from training in Massachusetts to relocating halfway across the country at Glory MMA. That's a big gym. You got some
Yeah,
absolute savages that train there. What has that adjustment been like for you, training where you were in Massachusetts versus Missouri? Obviously, I know Glory MMA, that's James Krause's gym. He's one of the most
yeah,
respected coaches in mixed martial arts. What
yeah.
has that experience been like for you?
It's really eye opening, right? Because like I don't want to say I bought into my own hype, but when I fought Daniel Matos, I was kind of buying into my own hype. Granted, I fought him with a broken fucking neck. I lost a fight, up a weight class. It is what it is. But fucking dude, it's really eye opening being here. Like I thought I was some hot shit thinking like, yeah, I'll just fuck people up in the UFC, and then coming here and like, oh, these guys have been in the UFC, are in the UFC. Not only that, like getting into the UFC, the amount of guys that I've been training with that have broken through to the UFC is probably like 5 or 6 just this
Mm-hmm.
year. I'm looking to break through in 2022, so I think I need one more fight just to get me on that path. And it's really eye opening because I can tell you from before I got here, there have been fights for Bellator, fights for Cage Titans that I didn't have consistent training partner. I didn't have training partner. I had a
Mm-hmm.
coach, great coach, a coach that told me I needed more than what was offered in New England. New England, everyone's out there fighting each other, and I think it's starting to change. But out here, it's everyone's got 10 fingers for one another, and it's cool to get up and over those walls, but it's also cool to bring people up with you. So if you're not pulling someone up, you're getting pulled up, so it's pretty cool.
In a way, has it been kind of refreshing going relocating to that area, because you go from being like, this unofficial mayor of Plymouth, Massachusetts, right, to here you are in Missouri. People don't know who you are. People don't know what Cage Titans is. Is that kind of like refreshing in a way? Like, you're just one of the guys, and it's one of those things where it's like, I can just focus on doing my work and not really being this like larger
Yeah,
than life public figure of sorts.
I think you kind of nailed it right in the head. Like when I left, um, I left a really good job that I loved. I had so much fun bartending back home. I made really good money. I left a really good job.
Hmm.
I left a girlfriend. I left my roommates. I left my parents. I left everyone I fucking know. And I was just like, fuck it. And honestly, like the second I left Massachusetts with the whole pandemic and how everything was playing out, it was actually, what's today's date? It was a
Today
year
is the
ago today.
6th. Yeah.
Yeah, I left a year ago today. I got in Missouri a year ago today, fun fact. Um, I drove out here, but it's one of those things where it's like I dropped all this shit and it's
Hmm.
just this huge weight off my chest, and I get to do what I wanted to do this whole time, with no distractions. I just show up to this house and they're like, "Hey, you so and so?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "All right." And then I remember I came here. I was out of shape. I was like 188 pounds, out of shape, and to get myself back into shape took time to
Hmm.
fucking a whole lifestyle change,
Yeah.
because this is all I do here.
You have been like, number one. I have to tell you, your tapology is a fucking disaster. Someone needs to clean
What do you
that.
mean?
Like your record's just all over the place. Like the shit's out of order. It's kind of annoying, but that's my rant that I need to get off my chest. So tapology, fix that shit. But
Yeah,
I
I heard
wanted.
that's run by one guy today. Someone told me the Tapology was run by one person. I'm like, you know what? He's doing a pretty fucking good job for one dude.
He is, but he should know better. Like, fuck up somebody else's page. Um, for you, you went pro in 2016, and that was still a
Yeah,
minute ago. We're going on 6 years, and you've been in this game for a while. You have fought most of your career at Cage Titans, but there are other promotions that you were also involved in. You were with Bellator for a little bit, and when you were in AMI, you fought in another local promotion.
yeah. I fought for
What?
KGFX, AFO, Cage Titans, Bellator. But I've also had fights that I was supposed to fight on other cards fall out. So it's not
Sure.
uh like I've been pretty loyal to Cage Titans. They've always treated me the best in New England. Um, as far as getting me fights, paying me the best, paying me what I'm worth. There,
Yeah.
there were a couple other promotions that are like, "Hey, we'll give you 10% of ticket sales." I'm like, "Yo, dude, that's cool and all, but I'm fighting out here for no money." It's like I'm getting way more over here.
Yeah.
Like make the juice worth the squeeze to fight the same caliber fighter and get paid more. It didn't make sense. And then to be tied to them contractually, like with Cage Titans, it's one fight deals. It's not. They want to see you get to that next level. So it's like I would actually love to fight out here in Missouri. They got this promotion out here, FAC, that
FAC. Yep.
I've been trying to jump on. So yeah,
The reason why I brought up, Don, all the promotions is I talked to a lot of AMI fighters. I talked to a lot of young kids that are, 19, 20, 21 years old. They're AMIs, they might have 4 or 5 fights under their belt. They're looking to go pro. What's some like parting wisdom or advice that you would give a young amateur fighter that's looking to make that leap to go to the professional level?
um, don't fucking rush it.
Hmm.
Don't take charge of your own career. Like, don't be a fucking idiot. You don't need to have a million hard fights to get to that next level. Obviously, you need to test yourself as an amateur. Amateurs where you get those hard fights in, see if you're really built for this shit, because not everyone is, and that's not an issue either. Like majority of people aren't built for this. So also listen to your fucking coaches. Like for me, it wasn't like, hey, I want to go pro. Like in my mind, it's like I knew I was supposed to be a professional athlete. But for me, it took me 6 fights, and then like all of a sudden, one day my coach was like, "Hey, so you're making your pro debut." I'm like, "All right, like you gotta trust the process." So it's one of those things too where it's like if you try and force it, like it could blow up in your face. You don't want to be a 3-0 amateur that goes 0-3 as a pro because there are some amateurs that are better than pros right now, and but for the most part, if you're in charge of your own career like that, you're probably gonna make the dumb decisions and just take fights whenever. Like you don't have to do that shit. Got to be smart. You're playing a game here, and this game's filled with smoke and mirrors. So fucking yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
definitely
make sure
don't
you.
rush it. That's like the
Well,
common theme I hear from a lot of guys that
well,
have your
not only that,
experience.
it's like find a coach that you fucking trust, like with your life, because the last thing you need is to get hurt fighting someone you didn't need to.
Yeah.
And you're talking to someone that had a year-long layoff with a broken neck, that's had a year and a half layoff with a fucking pandemic that no one could control.
Hmm.
But like maybe if I left sooner and didn't get so out of shape because I couldn't find training partners, couldn't link up with my coach, or the world was fucking shut down, and I came out to Missouri sooner where they were training 3 weeks after the pandemic started and didn't fucking miss a step. I mean, those people created those opportunities for themselves that I fucking wasn't able to because I wasn't in shape. Not because I didn't get the call, but because I was too fucking heavy. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna die making weight.
Hmm.
Or like imagine that fucking getting the call, missing weight, and then getting cut instantly after because now you're a fucking asshole because you didn't miss weight. So like to all those fucking guys coming up that want to take those fights, like do things, but do them fucking right. And sometimes doing it right isn't fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're a young buck out there listening, heed that advice, man, because Don's been there, he's done that. Let's learn from
I
that.
haven't done shit, man. I haven't
Sure,
done
you
shit
have.
yet.
Oh well,
Nah,
you talk that shit, but I know how good you are, and you're about to show it again. You're taking on a really really tough guy at Cage Titans 51. And this is the type of guy on paper, Shane Manley, that a lot of people aren't going to know. They're not going to know who he is. Most people, this is how most people look at fighters. We judge them based off of what's in the W column, what's in the L column. And you're going to look at this guy. For people that are out there, they're going to look this guy up and they're going to see he has a so-so record. But having watched his fights, I'm not just saying this to hype up your fight. Like this guy's good. He's not a can. He's like if you think this guy's a can, like you're setting yourself up for failure. I think he's very good. What are your thoughts on fighting Shane for the 45 strap? And like, what do you think about him as a fighter?
Um, so he actually asked me to fight when I was injured. So I broke my neck, I believe. I watched him fight Jeff Perez when I was injured. I was like just starting to get back into training camp for the first time after my layoff, and he was like, "Hey, when are you and I mixing up?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm injured right now." I was like, "All right, cool, I respect that," but I'm like, in the back of my mind, it's like, "Yo, I could be fighting him." So I saw that fight live, and I actually went up to him and congratulated him. I was like, "Yo, you and me next." I'm like, "I'm actually injured right now. Like, seriously, you don't know this, but when I broke my neck, I sound like this." So he was like, "Yo, me and you next." I'm like, "Bro, I'm injured right now. Like, I'm trying to take my time and come back." But what do you call it? It took a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, he's been offered to me before. At the times, it didn't make sense. Right now, it makes perfect sense.
Hmm.
You know, I had other opportunities, but yeah, I had better opportunities. Not saying that it's just a timing thing. So it took a little bit, like maybe a couple years for this fight to happen. But he's getting exactly what he wants, and we're gonna see if that's gonna pay out for me or him. People want things, and sometimes they don't get what they want from the things they ask. So I'm gonna give him exactly what he wants. He wanted to fight me. Here you go.
Hey,
See you in a month, bud.
yeah, props to him for wanting that fight because you're the type of guy that I think a lot of guys probably want to try to avoid. Your ground game is freaking insanely good. You're very, very strong. Your takedowns are really good. And like, you're the type of guy, once you get somebody on the ground, they're not getting up.
Hmm.
I can also kind of say the same about your opponent,
Yeah,
though.
He's really good at jiu-jitsu. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's gonna be strong, physical. Um, yeah, he look, man, when you get to that next level, everyone's strong, everyone's good, everyone's fucking you know,
Everyone's a
hits
beast.
hard. Yeah, it's about the like I said, that maze and lock in your mind that, who can play the game better, you know?
One of the things that I noticed from the Perez fight that he was really good at is his takedown defense, and Perez got in a lot of trouble because of that. I felt like Shane was able to stuff the takedowns. He was able to transition, take his back, and Perez was in a lot of trouble for a lot of that
Yeah.
fight because of his ability to take his back anytime he wanted. Is that something that you kind of think about, like when it comes to your individual game plan against him?
So I watched that fight, and there's a couple main differences between me and Jeff. I'm a little bit bigger than Jeff. I think that's going to be a little bit more of an issue. Um, and in that fight, they were both exhausted. Like that was a
Yeah.
grueling pace. And the cool thing about this fight is it's 25 minutes. So I know for a fact I can fight for 25 minutes. Like in my mind, I'm super confident that I could keep that pace up for 25 minutes. And you look at that fight and watching that fight, I'm not saying he's fading. Obviously he's working right now. He's gonna come in shape, but it's one of those things where it's like there's no doubt in my mind that I can keep up that pressure for 25 minutes. Um, and also looking at that fight, he did a lot of wall work. So he did a lot
Yeah.
of cage work, grinding Jeff against the cage, taking him down, taking his back. And I think that I have more experience taking people down, defending against the cage, and scrambling and getting back up using the cage. So I think that if he tries to go that route with me, which I don't know if he knows how to fight any other style other than
Hmm.
push forward and push someone against a cage and try and take him down. Like
Good
we're
luck.
gonna see how yeah, that's exactly what it's gonna be,
Yeah.
because that's also my style too. So I think I have more experience in that department. Um, and then I looked a lot at his striking. He didn't he threw combinations, but after that first round, it wasn't ding 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 ding. It
Hmm.
was bump 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 bump. And if I'm able to find his rhythm and tempo and disrupt it, I think it's going to be a good night for me.
I think it's going to be a really interesting fight. I'm curious to see if it turns into like a Colby Covington Kamaru Usman fight where people are like, you guys both just kind of nod to each other, like, "Yep, I'm good as fuck on the ground. You're good as fuck on the ground. Let's just punch each other's heads off." Or if it turns into a really tactical chess match on the ground, I'll be really curious to tune in for that one. I wanted to kind of like zoom out a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and talk about what a win over a guy like Shane Manley would mean for you. So you are in your athletic prime right now. You're 31 years old. You have a very good record. You fought some of the toughest guys in New England, and now you're training at one of the best gyms in the country. So, kind of like, what's next for you? You alluded to you want to take the next step. The UFC is a place you want to be. Like, what is your path there after you win this fight? What's next?
Hey, I wish I could tell you. I got the call at 7-2 in the middle of the pandemic, short notice, and I was too far out of weight
Mm-hmm.
to realistically take those opportunities. Um, and then since things have opened back up, those calls have gotten far more scarce because there's more guys willing on short notice to take those fights. Um, I think another win, especially another finish, puts me. Let's say I finish Shane.
Mm-hmm.
That puts me at 9 wins, 3 losses, 8 finishes. That's a pretty fucking fantastic finish rate. So it's not like I go in there and just decision people. You look at
Right.
my losses, they're decisions. You look at my wins, they are finishes.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of me getting cut. I got cut my pro debut. It cost me a fight. So
Mm-hmm.
technically it's a TKO, but still, dude, I'm fucking cut. It is what it is. Um, like I'm going out there and finishing people. What else more do you want? I feel like I'm a super exciting fighter. I feel like I get everyone emotionally invested in it. And isn't that how guys like Conor McGregor develop their following. You get people emotionally invested. It's not just you fighting. It's that energy you bring, and that energy is created by all the energy in the room, all the energy on, all the eyes on you, all that smoke on the social media, all these people that think, oh, he's just this one trick, or all these people that was like, oh, he's just gonna do that. Like, look at someone like Khabib, right, where you knew what he was gonna do, but he was that fucking good. Like,
What about what about your boy Chris Matino? You fought him as an Emmy. It's a perfect
yeah,
example, right? He gets a
yeah.
call, a fighter drops out, he gets a call.
He
People
made
aren't
weight on
really
a week's notice,
right.
but like that's the same mentality as going into that Nathan Williams fight. Like gangsters do what gangsters do. He showed up, he made weight, and he fought. He didn't win, but I'll tell you what, his fucking value as a professional athlete went through the fucking roof. The kid went from 1,000 followers to fucking 100 and something thousand, and if you're not an idiot and you know how to use your likeliness and market it like that, that can equate to a lot of money, outside of fighting, because
Absolutely.
it's not like that following is going to disappear. He's going to fight again, I think, soon. And it's like, I was actually telling someone the other day, like, if you're not a fucking idiot and you got 100,000 followers, right? Like in my mind, I take my following, right? And this is how I sell my merchandise and all my shit. I figure 10% is gonna buy my shit, whether it's a shirt, whether it's a ticket, what like 10% of my following's gonna follow buy that
Hmm.
shit. So let's just use 100,000 to make things seem easy. If I come out with a shirt, 10% of that 100,000 people are gonna
Ten
buy my
thousand.
shit.
Yeah, ten
Yeah, that's
thousand
ten
people.
thousand people. So hear me out on this. So let's say I sell this shirt for $20 and I profit 10. Okay, so $10 goes back to the company that makes the shirt, and I'm pocketing 10. Guess what? In that one shirt, I could have just made 100 grand, but I don't think people think like that.
Yeah.
That's its hustle in its own way. And then you do that once a month for fucking a year. Okay, you just made $1.2 million off selling a $20 fucking t-shirt with a new colorway and new scheme like that. So like his value as an athlete went through the roof off that one fight because he fought short notice and was a fucking gangster about it. So that's how I try and look at things. And I don't think people look at it like
And what's funny about it, like I'll never forget, like people laughed. People laughed at him walking into the fight. People were like, "Who the fuck is this guy? This guy is a can. This guy sucks." And I'm just like, evidently you have never watched one of his fights from CFFC. I was like, this guy hits like a freaking truck. This guy has an iron freaking chin. Like he's going to bring it.
that. He's tough as fuck, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, this
He
guy's going to
doesn't
bring
quit.
it.
Uh, there's something that says you're tough as fuck and you don't quit. Like that'll take you so far. Obviously, there's more to this game than just being tough as fuck and not quitting. But there's a
Sure.
lot of fucking quitters out there.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that there are a lot of fighters, a lot of younger fighters out there that are fighters for the gram, right? We do
Well,
it
are
for
you saying fighters or are they athletes? You know what I mean? Like there's a
yeah,
lot of fighters that are athletes that like the second the fight becomes a fight that they've checked out.
mhm.
It's how you deal with that adversity, and that's who you are as a person too. Like fighting so much deeper than just fucking fighting. It's who you are as a fucking person and exposing that to the world. For me, it's a fucking almost spiritual journey. Like I come out,
Mhm.
I go in there one person, and I come out a better human being than I went in there. Win, lose, or draw. But
Yeah.
at like, all right, perfect example. When I fought Nate Williams, or when I fought Daniel Matos, right? I
Mhm.
had a broken neck. He had a rear naked choke. I could have quit. There would have been no doubt in everyone else's mind. Oh, he broke his neck. You got a rear naked choke. Cool. But it matters in my mind, and it matters when you're looking back at yourself in the mirror and who you want to be as a person. So, like when you take it that seriously, there's a big difference when you have someone like me that takes it that fucking seriously because the mirror stares back.
Mhm.
That's the only person that fucking matters. And when you get these athletes that deal with a little bit of adversity and they look, perfect fucking example. I don't know what the fuck happened with the Bucks this past week, but who was it? Antonio Brown just walked off the field and quit.
Mhm.
That's a character thing. He's got to look himself. I don't know what caused him to do that. I don't know what. There had to have been some sort of frustration there. It could have dealt with money on the field. It doesn't fucking matter. He's got to look himself in the mirror. He just straight up quit in front of everyone. It's like, that's not how I want to be known as a human being. So
And people forget the touchdown catches. People are going to forget what his stats were or the contributions that he made to the team prior to that incident. You're going to always remember him walking off the field. That's
no
the
one gives a fuck.
right. That's going to be the lasting imprint in your mind is him walking off the
Yo,
field the
he
way
could
that he
take his
did.
money and donate it to every fucking charity and just do
Mm-hmm.
good and become some sort of fucking unspoken hero. And no, the guy could be fucking Batman and no,
Yeah.
people are just gonna remember that.
And when it comes to like your legacy and you as a fighter, like what's the type of fighter that you want to be remembered as when you hang up the gloves and you go on to the next chapter in your life?
I want to inspire people. I want to. I think I got a pretty interesting story from start to finish, and I'm not done writing it yet. But I think it's going to be really cool once I capture the UFC's platform and my following fucking blows up. And honestly, I don't know if I want to go from like school to school and talk to little kids
Mm-hmm.
and tell them my story about how I fucked up and how I did this and how I did that. But I think I want to go to like colleges to where I could still be myself, because if I can't be swearing in front of people like that, that's just something that I think about. It's like, how do I do this authentically without, all right, don't swear. Like, how am I gonna fucking swear in front of fucking fifth, sixth, and third graders,
Right.
and tell my stories? Like, or I could talk to these semi-adults that fucking all swear anyways, know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I think that'll be my main audience. And yeah, if I can inspire them by some shit that I've dealt with and the adversity that I'm dealing with day in day out, and fucking how I just buckled down and ignored everything and everyone and said fuck you. Like, my career is a giant fuck you to everyone.
I
You
think it's
know?
fantastic, and I think we need to hear the story. That's why you need to come back so you can tell that
Yeah.
story. That's what my
I'd love to
platform's
do
all
this in
about.
person. I'd love
Dude,
to do this in person.
I know. I need to. I don't know. I need to fucking figure something out. I wish I could quit my regular job and just do this as a job because I'm way fucking better at this than anything else. This is the only
Then
thing
why
I'm.
don't,
This is the only thing I'm
like,
good at.
bro? Well, let me put it like this: your title's mom's basement. Do you live in your mom's basement?
No,
No. Then move in your mom's fucking basement and do this full time.
I would go fucking nuts if I had to be in the same city as my mother.
Okay, then find someone else's mother, shack up with her, and fucking crawl into her basement.
I'm old though,
You
man.
know what I'm
I'm
saying?
I'm
Like,
not I'm not a
like,
young buck like you, but I got to provide for two kids. I got my wife I got to take care of. But um, dude, the hustle doesn't stop, man. I do
no,
this probably. My life is simple, man. Like I work 40 hours a week, and then I do this probably for another 40 hours a week, and it's
yeah. How,
gonna
how do you change that number so where you're doing this 80 times and working 20%? A
yeah.
reverse 80-20 rule.
I know. I need to. I don't know. I need to figure that out. But I do believe the content's there. The guests are there. It's just like figuring out from a PR standpoint,
Mm,
from like a sales perspective. Like, all right, what is it that I could offer? And I think really one of the things that I keep going back to is like what you said earlier. It's just putting in the time. You got to put in the time. You can't rush it. You
yeah,
can't cut corners. And I haven't even been doing this a year yet. I'll be doing it a year come May. That'll be my year mark. But
yo, I'll tell you what too. It's like, I remember, I had no idea who the fuck you were,
nobody
right?
knows who the fuck I am. That's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
it's kind of
But
good,
here
but
I
it's
am on
kind of
your
bad.
fucking podcast. And I remember, I'm like, I don't follow too many people on Instagram. If I'm following you, it's pretty career related. Like, it's fight related.
Sure.
Uh, and uh, like, followed me. Then like a month later, I'm like, you followed me again. Then it's like, followed me, unfollowed me, like my picture. I'm like, what the fuck is this, right? And then I'm not following this fucking person, mom's basement. Like, it doesn't even have a photo of you. Like, I don't know. Like, no. And then like, okay, cool, you follow me. And then I take over Cage Titans Instagram, and you ask a question, and I'm like, motherfucker, I see you follow me, I'm following me, following me, I'm following, and then you had like one hilarious fucking joke about fucking trying to hit me up for my car extended warranty. I'm like, all right, cool. I fuck with this guy. Let's see what he's about. And that's how I ended up here, you know?
That's how you
So,
ended
so
up here,
you keep
indeed.
that energy up. You know, you're gonna get people like me. And they're like, "Who the fuck's this guy?"
dude. I,
Okay.
dude, I've already gotten that. I've already gotten that, and I've pissed off a few people doing this, but
Mm.
I don't really care. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's kind of like the Colby Covington thing. It's like, especially when you're in MySpace, though, it's like I can't go into a cage and like fight people and get people's attention. Like I have to figure out how the fuck am I going to stand out and show people that I'm worth the time. How do I get people to pay attention to me? So,
You keep making car extended warranty jokes, and I promise you, fucking shit was gold, dude.
well,
I thought
now,
that was funny. I'm like, all right, shit.
well, now it's like, but now it's getting to the point now where like people are starting to figure it out, and
Mm.
people are starting to like give me the time of day, and they watch these shows and they're like, oh wow, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. He's kind of knowledgeable about the sport. He does his homework. Like, yeah, of course I do. Like, I wouldn't hit anyone up if unless I knew what I was fucking talking about.
Mm.
But most podcasts are trash. Like you get the same recycled questions. They're boring as fuck. The it's not a real professional setup. It's some kid fucking doing it, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and
Well,
you know.
that's how I feel about a lot of interviews. Like, it's like these press conferences that fucking like, dude, I'm going in fucking saying, I'm like, I fucking don't want to be there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. I fucking got to take a piss because I drank 2 gallons of water today. I'm here. I'm fucking with everyone that I'm gonna see in the next 3 days, anyways, and they're asking everyone the same fucking questions. I'm like, dude, can I get the fuck out of
Mm-hmm.
here? The fuck?
And
Now I gotta
no,
wear a mask while doing it. Fuck you.
yeah,
This is stupid.
and that's why I like looked at it and I'm like, okay, well, I can't ask the same boring questions if I'm gonna make this like what I want it to be. Like I'm gonna have to ask some really abstract questions, and how do I do that? It's like, okay, well, dude, I do some weird shit to get ready for these interviews. Like I like write down just shit that comes out of my head. I just write it down. I don't really think much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to like Tapology. Then I go to YouTube, watch all the fights. And then after I'm done with all of that, I think like, okay, pretend I'm this person. Where am I at in my career? What are the things that I think would frustrate me? What are the things that I need to do? And then I just kind of come up with questions after I've
Mm-hmm.
done all that. Dude, that it takes me fucking forever to do all that shit.
Shit, you must have had some fun watching mine.
Dude, I watched. I'm pretty sure I've watched everything that's on YouTube for you. I've
Yeah,
seen.
I remember you and I talked. You hit me up. You're like, "Yo, I'm watching the fight." I'm like, "Fuck, I just lost." And and uh, and I remember like texting you on the ride back, and I'm like, "All right, yeah, yo, check this one out. You'll never find this on YouTube." It was just kind of fun.
Yeah, man. Like, it's just at a point where it's like you have to prove yourself, just like anything. Like you have to prove yourself. You have to prove to people like why you're worth their time. And but I look at it and I don't know. I'm gonna sound like you. I'm gonna sound like a fighter in general. I look at what everyone else is doing. I'm like, man, these guys fucking suck. Like I'm the fucking best. Nobody comes even fucking remotely close to being as good as me. And it's just one of those things where, just like in fighting, it's a popularity contest. So I just gotta
Keep doing
freaking.
what you're doing, man, because you caught my attention
Oh, I
just because you're
appreciate
funny.
that.
You caught it because we're funny, and then we talked afterwards. Like, all right, this guy's fucking cool.
Yeah,
But
dude, I do fuck with some people, but I also like have balls to do shit that most people don't have the balls to do. Like, I'll DM fucking AJ McKee right now and be like, "Yo, dog, be on my fucking show." Like, you know,
did you respond?
yeah, actually, he did.
Dope,
So,
dope.
we'll see if I can get him. But he told me that I told him like I was like, "Yo, you know how you said that anyone who wants to can go to your gym for that $1 million?" And he like 3 weeks later, he responded back to me. He was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "All right, dude. Well, I'll play you in like UFC 4," and I was like, "I will fuck you up," and then he was just like, "Best out of like 7," and I was like, "Yeah, best out of 7. Let's fucking go."
All right.
And he respond like it takes him like a month to respond to me, but like he does. And then I was like, "Yo, after I beat you though, I don't want any money. You gotta be on my show." And he was like, "Okay." So
No, well, now you gotta fucking talk the talk. You talk the talk. Now you gotta make the walk.
Watch him be like the fucking best ever, though. I would, I'll get fucking wrecked.
Honestly, if I was AJ McKee, I'd probably never play UFC 3 or
Not,
whatever because I'm in Bellator.
I
Didn't
don't
make
even think he
Bellator
did.
1 with him in it yet.
I don't even think he. Yeah, I think he was saying like he's never played it because he was like, I'm
Yeah.
not in the game. I'm not fucking playing it. And I'm like, hey man, I don't blame you. I'd probably feel the same way.
I remember playing it when it first came out like 10 years ago. That was cool, but like, I don't think I played
I
it.
don't. I don't have time. I don't, dude. Like literally, all I do is I work. I do this show. I do homework for this show. And I hang out with my wife and my kids. That's it. That's it. That's all I do. Those three things. That's it.
Well, February 5th, I know you're going to be doing something else. You're going to be watching
I
this
am.
fight.
I'll probably watch it down here in my.
Let's go.
This is my basement actually. So I'll
Kind of
probably.
want to tour.
Yeah.
Kind of
Well.
want to tour. Who is
Hey,
that? Thug Rose behind you? No.
no, that's Weidman.
Miranda Maverick?
Yep,
Who?
that's Chris Weidman in the corner with Dominic Reyes. That's
No, the signed
Maverick.
UFC poster. Yeah.
That's Maverick, and then
Yeah.
Ryan Leininger is all the way up there. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see that.
he's going to be living with me.
Yeah, he's up there.
Dude, he's
Uh,
going to be my roommate.
oh Jesus, sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. That's my WWF belt I got when I was a kid. I just put it up there because that's fucking cool. And
Nostalgia. Fuck it.
yep, and that's it. But I need to get a picture of you on here, dude, so you can be on my
Okay,
wall
done.
of shame.
Fuck yes.
I don't know,
Wall of
like
Shame.
I'll put you right here. That'd be good.
Yo, what state do you live in?
Virginia.
Virginia. Fuck, that's like where in Virginia?
In the greater DC area. So I live in
Okay,
like
so
I live probably like 30 miles away from Washington DC. 30 miles
okay,
south.
so I think you're like 11 hours from Massachusetts.
Yeah, so that sounds about right. It's not close. I know that
Yo,
much.
I'll tell you this right now. You make the drive from Virginia to Massachusetts for Cage Titans. Shit, my phone's about to die. Not only will I buy you a floor ticket, I'll give you some shameless merch
All right. Well,
in
dude,
person.
it's got to happen, man. I will. I will hit up one of those events because I've always wanted to go to Massachusetts. I've never been there.
Dude, fucking something else, dude. You fucking see, dude, if you see Shameless Nation in full effect, dude, it's something else, dude. The energy's just different, dude. You could watch a million fighters, but the energy's different, man. I gotta take a piece so bad. My phone's about to
Cool.
die.
Well, let me say goodbye to you real quick.
Hi,
Don,
man.
thank you for being on the show, man. Can't wait to do it with you again. Is there anything I want to give you the last word? Is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Nah, man, this was fun. I can't wait to do it again.
All right, cool.